We do want to better our relations with Russia. However, the dire situation in eastern Ukraine is one that demands clear and strong condemnation of Russian actions.
Well, that is, of course, United States Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, warning Russia about its continued aggression against Ukraine, despite the Minsk peace agreement. You know, despite years of Moscow's denials, observers say it is clear Russian President Vladimir Putin is again ramping up military operations against the former Eastern Bloc nation to try and crush its democracy and dissent. This as there are now calls in the U.S. Congress for the U.S. to send Kiev more arms. But with fighting resumed, can Putin and those Russian-backed rebels really be stopped? With us now is the Ukraine ambassador to the United Nations, Volodymyr Yelchenko. Mr. Ambassador, welcome. Thank you for coming to Fox News.
Thank you for inviting me.
So the president has a phone conversation with Vladimir Putin, and the next day, I mean, there are like 2,300 explosions along the border in Ukraine as that fighting is resumed, artillery shelling, rocket launches. How bad is it, and what is happening on the ground now?
Well, I think we are having kind of the highest escalation probably since the very beginning of the crisis. There's the city, small city, 20,000 people, Avdiivka, its name, and it's being shelled continuously for days now, if not weeks, like several, thousand, shells every day. And they are mostly aiming at residential areas, or they are shelling from the residential areas in order to sort of have a reply, which our military try not to do. But this is the highest escalation, and I don't think that just a coincidence that it started immediately after the telephone conversation between Presidents Putin and Trump.
Well, John McCain, the senator, said that he believes that Vladimir Putin is trying to test President Trump with this. Do you think that Putin is testing the new American administration?
I agree with that 100%. That's what I was going to say. And I think that it's good that we had, like 2 days after that, we had a debate in the UN Security Council, which I chaired, and we had an extremely powerful statement by the new U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley. That was something which I think I saw it in my Russian colleague's eyes, that he didn't expect that. He was surprised by such a strong language in Nikki Haley's statement.
You're talking about the Russian ambassador, Vitaly Churkin. But statements, as you know, are not enough. What do you want the U.S. to do? What should the U.S. do? There are calls in Congress for lethal defensive weapons. Can that help? Do you think that your forces would be able to repel the Russians?
I think so. I would name 3 areas in which we need the continued support from the United States. Political, of course, that's the statements, the work in the international organizations, bilateral. Secondly, the economic assistance and financial assistance, and that's what we do receive from the United States for years now, and we're extremely grateful for that. This is a huge amount of help. And the third, military. As you may know, Ukraine announced some time ago that we would be willing to join NATO, but we do understand that we're not ready yet. We need to go through painful and big security military reforms. It will not be possible without the U.S. assistance in the military field. So if we would have more weapons, more training, more equipment, I think our military will be much more better prepared to repel Russians.
Do you think that the Trump administration would approve that, or are you concerned that they may cut a deal with Vladimir Putin? Are you concerned with the critics saying there's Russian influence during the election and in the administration, allegedly? Are you concerned that what the administration may do, or did that statement by Nikki Haley indicate and signal a tough stance by this administration against Moscow when it comes to protecting and defending your country?
I trust in words, and I think that even after Nikki Haley said that, we had a couple of announcements from the White House. There was a telephone conversation between our President Poroshenko and President Trump. There will be some meetings in Washington in the coming weeks, and I believe that the new U.S. administration will be ready to continue this kind of support.
You know, the president, he's known to watch cable television. What would your message be right now to President Trump if he's watching?
Well, follow the line of supporting Ukraine. because Ukraine is important.